Hi there, Chris Cannell with ActorBasics.com. So today I want to talk to you about the question that I get from you all the time about should you become an actor, in particular an actor in LA. Now, of all the questions that I get online, because I'm in the business of helping people learn how to become an actor. It's one of the things that I do on the side through this business, Actor Basics, in addition to being, working actor myself. And of all the messages and things that I get out there, this is one of the most frequent ones. Should I become an actor? What does it take to become an actor? All these different questions related to that. So I just wanted to take some time to sort of address that with you here in this video. So the first thing that comes to mind is, if you can do anything else and be happy and be fulfilled, if you believe that there's some other career path that you could choose that would give you fulfillment and happiness, then I feel like you should probably go in that direction. Because the truth is that those of us who have really hung our hat in this career have already established for ourselves that we cannot. Could we be successful in some other career? Absolutely. Could we be fulfilled in that other career? No. We've already established for ourselves that we cannot. And for some of us, it's because we already tried. For others of us, they didn't have to try. They just already knew, and that's great. So I think that's A. If you can be happy doing something else, then do it. Because those of us who are doing this feel like that we're really compelled to do it, and in order to have fulfillment, we're kind of cornered into it. Second, I think that in order to make it, you have to have a real good perspective, right? So some of the people who are interested in this profession are missing something inside, and they feel like that the validation that they might get from becoming famous is going to fill that hole. Now, I don't think all of them are conscious of that, who are in that boat, by the way. They know that they're driven, and they believe just that they're just driven. But from the outside, you can kind of tell, what's behind that is an underlying desire for validation on some level. Now listen, as actors, we all have some degree of that, but it is a matter of degree. So I think that you have to have the proper perspective, because if you're just in it to become famous and it's driven by some need to be validated because of parental issues or something, and that's the core of it, then I don't think that's enough to sustain you. And I know it's hard for you to assess for yourself whether or not that's you, but I just put that out there because I think it's in the realm of you have to have the proper perspective. The proper perspective is around, and there's another video that I have called, your big why. That's also part of the Actor Basics course. One of the first few modules is talking about knowing your big why. Why do you want to do this? And I think that has to be centered in a strong desire, not just to express yourself and be witnessed doing that, but to be a part of the storytelling world and sort of see yourself in the bigger picture, that you are a part of something bigger in doing this, and understand the power of story and the place that the actor has in that, and really, really honor that and appreciate that and understand that. I think that that's an important perspective to have in order to have long-term longevity and happiness, because the other stuff is so superficial that, even if you got it, it wouldn't make you fulfilled anyway, as we see with people who rise to the top and spin out and fall off, So I think that's 2. I think 3 is it takes courage. Kind of going back to 1, it's a tough road for most people. Everybody knows it. That's why the parents tell you you're crazy. That's why the friends tell you you're crazy. That's why yourself tells you you're crazy, for going down that direction. But if you know that you can't be fulfilled doing something else and you have to do it, then I think that it takes the courage to act on that, knowing that, to act on it and take the action necessary to get to LA, A. B, take that survival job that is not going to pay you what you could make in some full-time job. Spend all of your waking hours studying and working on your craft and working on the business side of your career, and just being happy with the base hits that you get as you slowly plug along, enjoying the journey and finding joy in the journey. Because it takes real courage to step out in that direction to begin with, and to stay the course. So I think that's it. So I think those are the 3 primary things that come to mind around should you become an actor. If you think that you can do something else and be happy, do that. I think, B is, I think you have to have the proper perspective for why you want to do this. And I think C is, you have to have the courage, to step out in this direction, away from the beaten path and take the road less traveled. And not everyone has the stomach for that. Not only to take the journey to start with, but even to stay on it. As you've seen in my story on the video at actorbasics.com, I myself started out on the journey and then bailed at one point before finally coming back. So I think lastly is resources. I have another video where I talk about how much money I think you need when you're moving to LA to become an actor. And, having access to resources to float you while you're getting started, I think is big. Because if you just come to LA broke, then you're going to end up taking that job that's closer to a 9-to-5 that gives you money, and that's going to be the priority, is getting something that will sustain you, rather than having the freedom, because you've got some savings, to be able to take a survival job that pays you less but gives you more flexibility so that you can go on auditions and you can do rehearsals and go to classes and things like that. So I think having resources before you come to town and before you set out on the journey is another key to should you become an actor, and should you become an actor in LA. So I think those are the primary keys that come to mind for should you become an actor. If you're watching this and you're contemplating this idea, I just want you to know, I admire you. It takes something to even be in this conversation with yourself about should you follow your passion. And you may determine that this isn't your passion, that it's something else. But the fact that you're even in this conversation with yourself about what's really meaningful to you, and what are you really passionate about and wanting to create a career around, that's admirable. Because very few people get to that place, or when they do, often it's way down the road. So it's commendable that you're even in that conversation. So I just want to say that, and if I can do anything to help, my business is Actor Basics. It's a side business. If you haven't already seen some of my other videos, I'm a working actor in LA, just out here doing my thing, but I created this teaching on the side, to help newbies with getting started. So if I can do anything to help, I have a course that helps, teach you the basics of how to get started in the business if you did decide that this was the way you wanted to go. And you can learn more about that at actorbasics.com. Otherwise, I hope to see you online or out in the audition trail. Okay.